Archaeologists find many things from the past during their work, but they only make sense of a few. When they stumble upon a mystery they can't crack, they turn to historians and scientists for answers. Even then, some discoveries still defy every effort to explain them. We've got some truly baffling finds lined up for you in this video. In many cases, they remain unexplained, even after years of research. These are the 15 most mysterious discoveries that shocked the whole world. Number 15. Hegra ancient cities can be found in nearly every long-standing civilization. In Saudi Arabia, one of the most amazing examples is Hegra, founded around the 1st century AD. It was once a thriving city in a powerful kingdom, and if you've ever heard of Petra, the similarities between the two are striking. What makes Hegra so compelling is how incredibly well-preserved it is. Despite nearly 2,000 years of history, the city remains in remarkable condition. Even experienced archaeologists are stunned by how intact it is. Today, part of it holds the distinction of being Saudi Arabia's very first UNESCO World Heritage Site. Carved into sandstone with towering facades and elaborate tombs, the site reveals a culture that clearly valued engineering, art, and legacy. Walking through Hegra feels less like stepping into ruins and more like visiting a city that simply paused in time. It's mysterious, majestic, and one of Saudia's greatest ancient wonders. Number 14. Mount Sinai. If you've read the Christian Bible, studied Judaism, or explored Islamic texts, you've likely come across Mount Sinai. It's one of the most significant sites in all of religious tradition. This is the mountain where Moses is believed to have climbed and received the 10 Commandments after speaking with God. But here's the mystery. No one actually knows where Mount Sinai truly is. Today, there's no universally accepted location. If you ask different scholars or believers, you'll get different answers. Some traditions place it in Egypt, others suggest it's in Jordan, and a few propose sites in Saudi Arabia itself. In total, there are at least 4 possible countries that claim it. Depending on which theory you follow, that can change everything. The mountain may have served as the backdrop to a sacred moment in human history, or it may remain forever uncertain. Either way, the real Mount Sinai is still out there, somewhere, but we don't know where. Number 13. Saudi Arabia's Gates of Hell. Believe it or not, several countries have staked claim to having the Gates of Hell. In Saudi Arabia, the term refers to a vast volcanic field no one dares to live in. The area stretches across approximately 14,000 square kilometers, and from the sky, it resembles a massive black scar dotted with deep openings and pits. Despite the hostility of the terrain, evidence suggests that human beings once lived among these lava fields. Archaeologists have found signs of Neolithic tribes who not only survived there, but left behind tools and artifacts. That kind of resilience is hard to ignore. It shows that no matter how uninhabitable a place may seem, humans have always found a way to live, adapt, and persist. Even in an area that looks like the doorstep to another world, people once carved out a life. And that's something worth remembering. Number 12. The Marid Castle. When people think of Saudi Arabia, castles aren't the first thing that comes to mind. Most tie the country with sand or ancient ruins. But military fortresses? Not so much. Yet Marid Castle stands as one of the few that still exist. Though referred to as a castle, it's a fortified military stronghold that has been mentioned in several historical sources, including accounts tied to a legendary queen and warrior. Structurally, it's what you'd expect of a desert fortress. Thick stone walls, tall watchtowers, and high ground perfect for monitoring distant threats. Built about 620 meters above sea level, its elevation gave it the tactical perk to repel invaders. Excavations show that Marid dates back to the Nabatean era and has witnessed centuries of history, including rule under Islamic dynasties and the Ottoman Empire. Today, it remains a protected site, and excavations continue, as more layers of its complex past still remain underground. Number 11. the stone circles of Saudi Arabia. Back in 2024, archaeologists found a series of stone circles in Saudi Arabia. After a detailed study, researchers concluded these weren't random. They were likely dwellings belonging to communities that lived there about 7,000 years ago. And where exactly were they located? Inside the same volcanic zone previously referred to as the Gates of Hell. These circular stone structures may have provided protection against surrounding lava flows should a nearby eruption occur. What's even more compelling is the discovery of stone tools and domestic remnants inside these circles. These weren't just shelters, they were functioning homes. Somehow, these early settlers found a way to survive inside one of the harshest volcanic fields in Arabia. Their adaptability, foresight, and ability to endure such conditions speak volumes. It's one thing to endure fire. It's another to build your home next to it and still manage to thrive. Number 10. The Lost City of Daan. Why do some civilizations always have missing cities tied to them? Maybe it's because history keeps moving, and we tend to forget where things were. What makes the Lost City of Daan special is that it played a key role during ancient trade periods, and it's even referenced in numerous biblical and historical writings. But that was about all anyone knew for years. Once excavations began, researchers found that the city not only absorbed the cultures surrounding it, but also evolved into a powerful force in its own right. Daan is thought to be over 2,600 years old, long before Islam or any major empire we usually study. It served as the capital of the Dadanite kingdom and later another ruling power. Both controlled critical trade routes across Arabia, especially those carrying frankincense and spices northward. Known today for its carved cliff tombs, Daan offers direct insight into early Arabian scripts and the people that came before Arabic itself. Number 9. The Umluj Shipwreck. Saudi Arabia's past stretches far deeper than many realize, especially when comparing its history to its current global image. Ironically, a shipwreck helps prove this point. Discovered in the early 2000s in the Red Sea, the Umluj Shipwreck revealed fragments of a vessel and cargo that had been underwater for more than 250 years. This single wreck hinted at an older maritime culture, a chapter of Saudi history not often discussed. It proved that ancient trade didn't only rely on desert caravans, but also took to the sea. Goods were shipped, exchanged, and transported across waters just as they were across sand. Over time, this seafaring tradition faded, replaced by newer systems and regional changes. But the Umluj wreck stands as proof that the Red Sea once carried Saudi traders and their goods far beyond its shores. Number 8. The rock art of Saudi Arabia. There are ancient mysteries that likely won't be solved for generations, if ever, and petroglyphs carved into rock are firmly among them. These markings were etched by early inhabitants of the Arabian Peninsula, who inscribed their lives, rituals, and struggles into stone faces across the region. Some of the markings are straightforward and easy to interpret, while others remain undeciphered. Some estimates suggest these petroglyphs contain more than 8,000 years of human history, stretching across mountains and desert cliffs. Scholars agree that one theme stands out consistently: the battle for survival. These ancient artists lived in environments where every day meant enduring relentless heat, scarce water, and unpredictable threats. And yet, they still took time to document their world through carvings that have stood the test of time. The amount of precision and persistence required to leave behind such records in extreme weather is proof enough that their stories mattered and that they weren't willing to be forgotten. Number 7. The Oasis City of TA. From Egypt to Iraq to Arabia, cities buried beneath desert sands often surprise archaeologists, not just because they're ancient, but because they're often more impressive than expected. TA was one such site. When archaeologists began digging, they quickly realized the city was far larger and more developed than originally believed. It's now considered one of the greatest cities of the ancient Near East. Some scholars even believe it could be the birthplace of the Maraba Aramaic script. Inscriptions and palace ruins hint at a powerful local king whose interactions with neighboring rulers, including the Romans, remain mysterious. Tama holds importance because of what it reveals about the region's urbanization, political dynamics, and written language development. Much of the city still hasn't been fully excavated, which means more discoveries could be waiting under the surface. With every layer pulled back, we learn more about how civilizations in harsh environments still manage to create culture, script, and order. Number 6. The Mustatils' history always has another layer to peel back, especially when it comes to humanity's earliest structures. In northern Saudi Arabia, researchers identified over 1,000 large rectangular stone formations known as Mustatils. Dating back roughly 7,000 years, they're believed to predate monuments like Stonehenge or the Egyptian pyramids. That alone makes them significant. Constructed from massive sandstone blocks, some weighing over 500 kilograms, these structures range from 20 meters to over 600 meters in length, but remain only around 1.2 meters high. Scholars believe they might have been ritualistic in nature, possibly designating sacred sites, enclosures for offerings, or spaces for early cultic gatherings. The most intriguing part? They were largely ignored when first found in the 1970s. Today, they're seen as vital pieces of early Arabian history. The sheer number of them, scattered across barren lands, suggests they served an important, widespread cultural function, something we've only just begun to understand. Number 5. Bronze Age tombs. Well, when you begin a dig, you never know what you'll find. In one Saudi Arabian town, archaeologists found tombs filled with relics dating back to the Bronze Age. Even the town itself was an incredible find, hidden within an oasis, shielded by time. The artifacts retrieved from the site marked a defining shift in the region's history, from nomadic lifestyles to early forms of settled society. Based on site data, the town was built around 2400 BC and is believed to have supported roughly 500 people. But despite its longevity, the settlement vanished. It thrived for nearly 1,000 years. Then, suddenly, it was empty. The cause remains unknown. Was it drought, conflict, migration? No one can say. What we do know is that it left behind evidence of civilization adapting, growing, and eventually disappearing. It also raises the question, how many more hidden towns like this are scattered across Arabia, buried just beneath the sand? Number 4. Ancient human footprints in Saudi Arabia. The story of human origins is one of archaeology's most hotly debated topics. That's because every time researchers think they've completed the timeline, a new find flips it entirely. This time it's footprints, human ones, believed to be around 120,000 years old. If confirmed, these would represent the oldest trace of humans ever found on the Arabian Peninsula. The implications are massive. First, it challenges long-standing beliefs that humans left Africa much later. Second, it provides a direct path, an actual trail, suggesting how ancient humans spread across Asia and Europe. These footprints were preserved in a dried-up lake bed, where ancient mud solidified over time and turned to stone. Etched into layers of sediment, the tracks offer insight not just into movement, but into survival, behavior, and climate. And the sediment's condition proves that the area was once far greener than it is today, which we'll discuss in a bit detail later. Number 3. Forgotten incense trade routes. History often reveals how civilizations interacted through trade, and the next two discoveries shed light on that. This entry focuses on the forgotten incense trade routes that once passed through Saudi Arabia and beyond. The primary commodities traded on these routes were frankincense and myrrh, names you might recognize depending on your cultural or religious background. But it wasn't limited to those. Along these overland and maritime paths, merchants also exchanged spices, gems, silks, and other valuables. These trade corridors were so crucial that several empires and kingdoms joined the network. Evidence of these ancient paths still appears today, as researchers uncover remains of caravan stops and ancient outposts. So, what led to their disappearance? Eventually, economic downturns reduced their use, and by the time trade revived, new routes and partners had replaced them. The old paths were left behind, not by catastrophe, but by evolution. This is the natural life cycle of global commerce. Number 2. The Green Arabia Theory. Picture what Saudi Arabia looks like in your mind. Likely endless dunes, scorching heat, and cities carved out of dry earth. But what if, long ago, the entire region was lush and green? That's the basis of the Green Arabia Theory, a claim backed by respected scientists from around the world. According to their findings, Saudi Arabia may have once been rich with forests, rivers, and fertile plains, roughly 8 million years ago. This isn't just speculation. Fossils of animals not seen in the region today, including elephants, have been unearthed. These researchers didn't come simply to theorize. They studied climate data, topography, and plant life to explore the possibility of regreening the land. It's not about terraforming, but perhaps restoring what once was. Ironically, similar discoveries have been made in places like the Sahara. So maybe this transformation isn't impossible. Maybe Saudi Arabia's future echoes its distant past. Number 1. The AlNasla rock formation. Rock formations can be baffling not just in Saudi Arabia but across the globe, including several we've featured in past videos on this very channel. The one we're focusing on today is the AlNasla rock formation. This geological wonder draws attention because, well, just take a look. It's a natural rock formation that's been split directly down the middle with uncanny precision. The two halves remain standing, perfectly aligned, and seemingly untouched. Found within an oasis in Saudi Arabia, the rock is estimated to be around 4,000 years old. And yet no one has come up with a solid explanation as to how or why the divide occurred. Some suggest natural erosion, others whisper about ancient tools or unknown technology, but all theories fall short. Until someone invents a way to travel back in time and witness it for themselves, the true reason behind AlNasla's split will likely remain unknown. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you soon.